Welcome everybody to our weekly show, Mystic Muse Online, a metaphysical chat show. So glad everybody can make it here today. This is a listener-supported show, and we're glad that you're getting the announcements and showing up and being a part of that. I'm David Shepard Love, and welcome.
Hi everyone, I'm Deborah Christie Love, and welcome to our Mystic Muse chat. Another beautiful Friday here in Camp Verde, Arizona, and spring has sprung here. It's beautiful and sunny, warm today. Another beautiful Friday, so I'm not sure what we're talking about today, but I'm sure we'll be guided. I know that there's a lot of big energies coming in right now and giving some people some symptoms, including me. I think I've had a touchy stomach the last week or so, off and on, very, very mild, but still enough to just barely notice. And finding out it's very common in the last week or so with a lot of friends of mine. So interesting, and hopefully we'll all get through this, and we'll talk some more about that later.
Yep, those ascension symptoms can be rough. Earth changes. The human residence is off the charts as usual. And lots of earth changes going on with all the collective consciousness. Everybody is looking at the new earth and saying, well, where is it? I see the changes everywhere, but where is it? So that is creating a little bit of trauma or angst, shall we call it, and that is part of the reason we're having upset stomachs or headaches or dizziness, tiredness. It's actually a very long list, and so maybe you're perfectly healthy most of the time, but during these times of transitions, we can expect a little bit unusual feedback from our body systems.
That's true, and things don't happen overnight. It does take a long time for some of these things to complete themselves, but I think I can definitely feel the energy shifts, and just because the energy shifts, it doesn't mean that the people shift instantly with it. It's a real process that the world is going through and the population is going through, and everyone does it in their own time, in their own way, so everyone's going to have their own different symptoms and their own things that it brings up for you and your own healing process going on. So it is a long haul, but I see the changes, I see the difference, and since we've been noticing it for the last 10 years, it has changed. It really has, and things are shifting at a faster and faster rate. I'm sure you've noticed that time seems like it's speeding up. It just seems like days go by and I think I'm going to do something and I never get to it, and that happens more and more, and again, here we are Friday, and it's like, well, not sure how that got here so fast, but here it is again. And I think everyone's going through the same thing.
I believe so. Welcome to our listeners here. I see we're starting to get several that have joined in, so glad you're getting the announcements and are continuing to follow us. As always, if you do have any comments throughout our show, please take them into the box there. That really keeps us on task of what we can talk about. This is a fly by the seat of our pants type of show, given our 40 years experience, and I'm sure many more lifetimes of experience talking about this, but when it comes to live in front of the camera, sometimes we get a little tongue-tied, so your help is certainly appreciated with your comments or questions.
I hear that March 20th, coming up on Saturday, is going to be a very big global day for worldwide meditations, and I guess there's some protests, peaceful protests going on. Hopefully they will all stay peaceful. And yes, worldwide, maybe in a town near you. So if you don't feel like joining in physically, at least you can probably tune in mentally and add that peaceful meditation for world and global healing and the betterment of our world at this time. It's very important, and when we do this on a mass scale, the results are found almost instantly within the next week or two. We will notice big changes after the 20th, I think, with this huge global meditation going on and demonstrations. So interesting.
That's March 20th?
Saturday.
Saturday, okay, that's tomorrow, and for our viewers on the southern hemisphere of the world, you're actually already in the 20th, so tune into your web browsers, I guess you would say, and find out where your meditations are, what time it is. Maybe you can tune in, or just take some time during the day and send out that energy. This is a 24-hour meditation, so wherever you are in your particular time zones, then you're going to be adding your collective strength to the overall collections, and you got to remember that you're very powerful. You know, it's said that if one pure soul can meditate and send out pure light and divine light, that can affect as much as 10,000 people or more, 100,000 people. So you know, you can be very powerful. It may appear you're just sitting in a meditation, or maybe just having a nice, calm, loving day, but you're really changing the earth around you. So take this special day of the 20th and send out the energy and watch the earth change around us for the better.
That's true. And remember, there is no time and space in meditation or in the energetic field, energetic world, so to speak. So if you do happen to miss it for any chance, for any reason, you can, at that time you realize you've missed it, start meditating and do, you know, a half an hour, whatever you wish to contribute, and just make your intention so that it joins with the collective that went on for the 20th. And all that power will end up together, because, as I said, there is no real time and space. We can kind of send it ahead of time or send it to the collective, and it will all show up at the right moment.
Very true. Welcome, Ahava. Thank you for joining our show. I know you're a regular listener on our show. We appreciate your comments, and we especially appreciate you being here.
That's great. Great to see you. So I grabbed a deck of cards here for today, and I thought I would see what happens with that today.
Okay. Today we're going to be pulling a card from the Archangel Animal Oracle cards. Beautiful picture on there. And these are by Diana Cooper. We'd like to pull a card every week as part of our live broadcast to help guide and direct you for the upcoming week. All is in perfect and divine timing. So if you happen to be listening to the live broadcast or in our numerous replays on various sources, then this card is drawn especially for you.
Okay, so I have this card here. I don't know if you want to go first with that. Feel free. There we go.
Test my psychic sense here. Okay, this is the Tiger card. Accept your magnificence. So for all our tigers and tigeresses out there, male or female, this is a card for you. It is a time that we start accepting our magnificent. This card is to remind us of that. You know, that we are actually all are gods and goddesses. We have ultimate power in heaven and earth, but you know, we need to accept our opportunity to sit on the throne. Our empowerment is all around us, but it all starts within. As you believe that you're powerful, then you are powerful. Well, you're powerful whether you believe it or not, but belief is going to magnify that manifestation 100, 1,000-fold, even 1,000,000-fold, depending on how strong your belief is. So this is a week of accepting your magnificence. Go ahead and say, I am all powerful, I am love, I am the one, and start to really believe that, because in reality you actually are that. You're no difference than the ascended masters out there. The only difference is that they actually believed it and started manifesting and living it, lived in that real world paradigm for themselves. So accept your power, and great things are going to happen to you this week.
Did you show the card?
I did.
Okay. Again, very beautiful card here with the tiger. And it also refers to Archangel Raphael here with this card. So this is very healing for us to be taking our power back at this time. And I get the message to remind people that taking your power back and feeling powerful, feeling the God within, it's not about arrogance. It's not about the ego. It's really about just discovering the truth within us, and that truth is there for everyone within us. So it's not about being arrogant or feeling better than anyone else. It's really about finding that inner God within us and knowing that we do tap into that same power, all of us, and we all have that equal potential to be the great master that we can be. And now is the time. And with that, it's saying that, you know, this is a healing process, and when we can finally tap into that energy, it's a great sign that we've come a long way in our healing process. So thank you to Archangel Raphael as well with that card. So I hope that's relevant for everyone this week.
It is. Whether we realize it or not.
It is.
I would like to recognize Lana. I think I'm saying that right. Luana, one of our listeners. I'm not familiar with you as a listener, but we're certainly glad that you're here. If you do have any questions or comments, that kind of helps our show keep on track with what's going on, and we really appreciate sharing information. Both of us have many decades of experience in this, many lifetimes very likely, but it's always nice to be in the moment now, and this moment includes all of our wonderful listeners out there as well.
So true. If you have any questions about near-death experience or past lives or a psychic question perhaps that's not too personal, or anything metaphysical about rainbows or sacred geometry, we're here to answer your questions, or give us a topic and we will see what we can contribute to that.
It looks like you're right on Luana's pronunciation. So you wrote it up there.
Yes, Luana,
and
Angelina.
again, welcome, Luana, and
Yes.
Glad that you're here. I see our listeners list is growing up there, so we've been actually doing this show for almost a year now.
Wow, yeah.
Is it, I don't think it's quite a year, but maybe 10 months. We didn't start right away. We've just started. We just had our 1 year anniversary here at Mystic Muse, so it's nice to be ticking it off. Business is getting better than ever, so glad the energy in this shadow of Sedona area is starting to sink into the Camp Verde area, and we're doing our best to help ground and catalyze that. I see there is a question there from Luana, so we can jump right into that.
Okay, what was that question? I sounded like I missed your introduction.
No, all right. How are you feeling about the energies today?
The energies today. Well, they're high as they have been for the last week, I feel. I woke up with that feeling again. I don't know about you, but I feel it as soon as I wake up in the morning for the past week. And it's just a slight bit of dizzy and a slight bit of maybe stomach nausea, a little, but it's very slight. It's just enough to notice and think, oh, that again. And then it seems to quickly go away after I get up and move around a little bit. But at certain times through the day, it's a little twinge again. So it's very mild for me, thank goodness, but it is there. And I know it's all good. I feel that energy raising, and it's just part of the process of our body and ourselves starting to vibrate higher and catch up to the energy around us.
So I think I was saying how our energies was today, right? Did I read that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Because I noticed you personalized it. Yeah. For me personally, my energy's just been all over the board. I know a couple of days ago, I do an early morning meditation, and I was just so emotional, like the most emotional I've been in months, and there's really no real strong reason for it, just normal stuff going on, but it really had a strong effect. I can only blame that on Earth energy, and all the shifts and so forth. It seems like light workers are becoming more sensitive all the time, and I hear in one of the memes, that's our superpower. So, hang in there, all you sensitive people out there. I'm becoming more sensitive all the time, and frankly, it's just kind of driving me crazy. I'm not quite used to all these emotions. Always been kind of in the heart chakra energy field, but there's a new level, a new dynamic that's been added to this, where we are super sensitive right now. So, spend the time meditating, eating right, make sure you get your liquids, and keep sending out the love. And I also wanted to tag on to what Lorena is saying, that she's been in Arizona several times and lived in Tucson for quite a few years. So
Oh,
that's lovely. Actually, I'm from Tucson myself for 45 years. Moved out for about 10 years, moved up to Canada, and now we're back. So I know Tucson like the back of my hand.
mm,
I still have family there, of course, and so great to see a native Tucsonan, the land of the sun, as I always say, to see sun, and that has a
mm.
lot of symbolic meanings for it as Arizona A to Z, and the list goes on and on of this wonderful sacred area we're in.
It is. I love it here. Just love it. Um, yeah, so welcome. I'm happy to hear there's someone local. I think we actually ran into someone who saw our show right here in Camp Verde. Was that a week or 2 weeks ago now? Someone who caught us going into the store and oh, Mystic Muse, and she recognized us from this little show right here in Camp Verde. So that was kind of eye opening. It was like, wow, we always think most of our viewers are scattered around the world and far away, but I guess we are actually finding some people that are finding us that are actually local. So that's nice to know.
Yeah, feeling like a celebrity. She had never met us in person. She just sees us at Circle K, and
Yeah.
just from our, us being together, we're automatic a celebrity. Ahava is saying that she's experiencing the energy and also a rush of vibration, almost anxiety, if that makes any sense. So, yes, as we mentioned, the energy is really intense right now, and vibration, I think, is a really excellent word on that because it's coming in vibrationally, and for those that are light workers, it's perhaps a little easier. There's other people that are experiencing extreme anxiety at this time, and it's all because the vibrational fields are changing. We're actually moving into more of a 5D vibration right now, whereas a 3D vibration is going to be considered more dense and more easy to deal with. This 5D energy is pure vibration. It's a very high vibration, and it's becoming more prevalent here on Earth at this time. So, just as I mentioned, you keep your meditations up, keep sending out the love, and and enjoy it because this is going to start to be the new norm. So, the sooner we get past the shaking and the anxiety, the better. But it certainly is not. We're going to have a number of weeks and months, maybe years of this transition period where vibration and the shaking of our spirits is just going to be at times overwhelming. So I'm sending you love and light, Ahava, and others that you might get through this transition time.
I think a great thing if you're feeling the anxiety is to bring yourself back to the present moment, realize what's good in your day today and here and now, and also to maybe do some grounding and visualize that energy going down through your bottom of your feet into the earth, and that helps to bring your energy back to center, and also to recognize that sometimes it's not all your energy, you're feeling the collective energy, and when you acknowledge that as well, that it's maybe not all you, that sometimes helps lessen it as well. The other thing I wanted to say about being that sensitive is that we realize that we're sensitive and we seem to feel things more or take things personally sometimes and kind of feel like a basket case some days, but we also have to realize that everyone else is as well. So we have to try to be gentle with our reactions and gentle with the people around us as well, because everyone is feeling it. It's not just you, and sometimes we get caught up in our own well, I'm sensitive today, everything's bugging me, well, it's bugging everyone else too, and so we have to kind of be focused on what we're saying and the energy we're putting out as well, because it kind of makes everyone cranky, and so we're all kind of playing off each other. So I think that it's really good to recognize that everyone's going through it, and we have to be kind of extra kind, not only to ourselves, but to everyone else as well.
Yes, that collective energy is really important. Where it might appear that we're alone in our own soul space, but actually there is a lot of group energy, and the more sensitive we are to that, the more we're going to pick that up. The earth seismic scale right now, on a personality level is just off the chart right now. People are going through tremendous anxiety and change and everything else. So this group energy is registering. Even Mother Earth itself is feeling this tremendous transition period right now. So keep breathing, and we'll get through this. I, uh, I see Aluna's talking a little bit about there's a lot of relationship issues going on right now, so we can talk about that. And I'll start.
Good reminder to be gentle. Yeah.
And relationship issues is we'll try to get to these as we can.
That one kind of disappeared.
It's there already. A lot of people are going through relationships issues at the moment, and yes, this is a time of change right now. And if you're in a relationship that perhaps is not on the same vibrational frequency as you are, or even much lower, like a toxic relationship, then you're going to be feeling this more than ever right now. This is the time for your personal growth. It's time for everybody's personal growth. And with this great bombardment of light right now, light workers are going to be pushed and pulled into improving their lives, moving out of toxicity, moving in towards light and love. So I don't know if you're in a relationship, or I know whether you are or not. Let's say that you're not. Now's your time to work on yourself, to keep your vibration really high and pure, on an even keel, and keep growing with that, because as you do that, you're going to be attracting that next person, that next relationship into your life on a much higher frequency. And now's not the time to be kicking yourself, for sure, because you don't want to be bringing more of that type of lower energy into your life. Just keep the love and the praise, the gratefulness up really high, and you're going to be bringing that type of person into your life.
It's so true. Yeah, and everything is changing. I mean, people are finding relationships, leaving some, and even moving. I mean, jobs changing, moving away, people changing locations, etc. There's just so much on this big scale going on. But I think right now it's mostly our relationship with self that is going through the biggest changes, because we're all, as I said, changing on that inner level, and so it's our relationship with self right now that I feel is being mostly focused on. And of course that changes everything. When we change, everything around us changes as well. And so there's an adjustment time, and a time when everything catches up and kind of works itself out into its own balance eventually. Is there another question?
She's saying the families are not always aligned with the current situation. That's what she's experiencing. I certainly see that with my family. I'm, I've been doing this forever, and I'm definitely, well, some people call it the black sheep. I prefer the word the rainbow sheep in my family, because I'm way out there on a limb and very into rainbows. And but I'm finding that most of my family not only don't get it, but they're almost in a rebellious state about that. So sometimes it's better just to keep your distance from that. You don't want to shake them up too much. They're going to come along at their own pace. If they're not into light workings right now, then more power to them. Everybody's on their own path to godhood, and we do the best that we can around them. But the number one person that's most important in this is ourself. And we're not here to keep other people happy. We're here to find joy for ourselves. So it's kind of sad when we're so close and we love our families very much that they can't join us in this magnificent journey. But at the same time, we can't drive ourselves crazy over that. They're on their own path of evolution. I think a lot of the people in even my own family are young souls. And what do you do with a young soul that's only been here perhaps a few a few times, whereas I'm sure I've been around hundreds of times in this earth experience. So I'm kind of used to all this ruckus and enlightenment and all the things that go with it, whereas a younger soul is still just trying to get in touch on the most simplest levels.
Well, and we have to realize that everyone's on their own journey, and we have to make peace with that. I think that's where so many people that are maybe further along, so to speak, get in trouble because they want to take everyone with them and they want to fix everyone and enlighten everyone around them. And, we can't do that. We're all on our own journey. And the best thing we can do is plant seeds. And sometimes they'll take hold, sometimes they won't. But we can just send love and light and respect where everyone is on their own journey and be kind and loving to them, because that is the best example. And just accept that everything is perfect for where everyone is. Everyone will get there in their own time, and we can't tell people or teach people that aren't ready for what we have to say. They'll get there in their own time. And as I said, just be the example and plant seeds and be kind and loving, and that's the best we can do. And attract the good things into our life. Don't let it spoil your journey and the happiness that you found where you are. You will attract other people that you can share it with, and so that's what's happening now. And I think we find soul family along the way, and that's just the way it's meant to be. It doesn't mean we can't call them up and see how they're doing and wish them well and even get together. It limits your conversations a little bit, but it's still a lesson for us in patience and kindness and trust the universe that it knows what it's doing. It's been doing it a long time.
Yeah, I know it's really really tough with family. I've been going through that a lot with my. Well, I don't want to reveal too much information either, so I'll just say with my family, and it can get a little tough because I keep putting out love and light just constantly. It's pretty much the only language I know, and they're looking at me like I got two heads most of the time, so it just seems kind of strange to me, but that's just where they're at, so I'm learning to accept that, even though I love them very much. They're really on their own path, so I need to be on my path as well.
That's so true. Yeah, and I find so many people going through that. I mean, it's like I said, I think the number one thing that people struggle with, and I look at it as a test, and it's a test of our trust. It's a test to trust the universe and know that we all have free will and we all have to be allowed to utilize it. There's nothing we can do about that.
Very good. So where are we at right now? We want to do a card, or I see our questions are. I think we've handled most of the questions.
Okay.
Thank you, Luana, for keeping us on task here. We really appreciate you being here today.
Yeah. So why don't you draw one of your cards, and I'll see if I find anything coming up with the lesson in our book here.
Okay, card for today. Get it out. This is from my teaching series from the 90s called The Rainbow Bridge. I've actually been doing this since the early 80s, studying the rainbow and all of its, that's a very short one.
Oh boy.
Studying the rainbow and all of its aspects, philosophically, scientifically, religiously. And so most of my work for 40 years has been centered around the rainbow teachings, and this card is one of the shortest ones I've seen in the whole deck. It actually says the power of truth. I know it's backwards, I just got to show you how short it is. The power of truth. Truth goes by a lot of different names. What's true for one person is not necessarily true for the next person. I'd like to say that the rainbow is perhaps an exception to that truth, particularly when it comes to the rainbow equation and the rainbow prophecies. When we're dealing with sacred geometry, we're dealing with how the rainbow is colored and the arrangement of the colors. All of those things are pretty much immutable facts. The orange is always going to appear next to a red and next to the yellow on the other side, making the combination and orange. That's just the truth. Or if we're dealing with a cube, uh, that's another truth. You may be able to see in your screen there, there's actually a cube, and that's the rainbow equation you're seeing there over our shoulders there, and there's a cube right in the center there. So when we're standing in the center of the cube, it's a perfect three-dimensional perspective of what the universe looks like, no matter where you're at in the universe. And I'm pretty sure on any dimension, there's going to be a left and a right, a top and a bottom, and a front and a back, just like a cube. So, this is the power of truth. There are certain truths that are out there that can change our lives, and I encourage everybody to just to open your eyes to try to look at the larger perspective. Sometimes when I think of truth, it's not just about a couple small things, but to try to get into the higher consciousness of what's going on, see it from the crown chakra energy to where we're seeing everything at the same time, and as we view the larger picture with so much, the truth takes on a much larger perspective, because we can start seeing it. Well, this is the truth for one person, that's the truth to the next, and that's the truth to the third person. But from the higher perspectives, we can start to see the truths from all of those different perspectives. So those some key points about truth. Kind of an unusual card, and I wasn't sure what to make out of it.
Well, with that flow, and it's how our lives are. We have to kind of tune into that energy of the flow in our own lives, because fighting it is futile, and when you fight it long enough, you'll figure that out, because nothing will work out and you'll just be frustrated. So, when you're stuck somewhere or feeling like, well, things should be changing now and they aren't, try to make peace with that, because you will know it will change. You will feel something different when it's time to move on, or things will just open up. So make peace with where you are, because you're meant to be there for whatever reason. Divine timing is at play there. And we do manifest these things. But as you said, the flow has its own pattern. The metaphysical laws are at play, and those work the same for everyone. We all have our subjective truth, which is truth for just us, and for everyone has their own, but we also have the metaphysical laws which work for everyone, and so there is that flow going on, and when it's time, it's time. Things will just work out, and to push it and to make it happen, those things just are fraught with so many setbacks and disappointments and it not working out. It's a waste of time. Fighting that flow is futile, and I've learned that myself in my own life. And when it's time to change something, things just fall into place. They just work out, and you just go, wait, what was that? And there was a time I was an executor for an aunt of mine, and she was in a nursing home for several years, and she'd left her house, and I think for about 3 years it sat pretty much vacant, and suddenly it was just time. I knew it was time to sell the house, and that can often be a huge ordeal. But there I was one day, I was sitting somewhere, and I saw a sign, an advertisement for a certain agency in the town I was in, and thought, why am I interested in this suddenly? I don't have my own property to sell at the moment or anything, but I thought, but my Aunt Rhea does, and it needs to be sold. So within a very short time, I was contacting that agency, only to find out that the two people running it I had gone to school with several years before. The house sold in about 4 days, and we had our choice of buyers because there was so many offers put in on it, and it just went like boom. All of a sudden, there it was, and it had sat for 3 years. Hadn't thought to sell it, but got the message, and there it was. It just happened, and that's how things work when they're just set out in a certain timeline, and you can tune in and follow that and go with the flow.
Okay. I was just thinking why it's so surprised, because it so quickly, because it was such underpriced, but that's
well, it needed a whole ton of work.
It needed a ton of work, so we wanted people to get past that. Let's see, divine guidance, but you also follow your inspiration too.
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
I
inspiration is
totally what
divine.
says.
Inspiration is also divine. We get inspired for a reason.
That's right. I'm a big advocate of working both ends of the spectrum, both divine guidance and also inspiration as well, meaning our own personal inspiration. The great balance in the universe is between infinite and finite. So if we can learn to connect with divine source, divine guidance, the great cosmos, the great I am on one end of the spectrum, but at the same time following our own I am presence or our own inner guidance, our own I am, then we're working with that finite self, which is also infinite, by the way, but also working with the infinite self at the same time and finding a balance between the finite self and the infinite self is just my perspective, a very perfect place to be.
It is. It's that balance point, 0 point, that magic, And as she's saying here, if you sometimes you get that inspiration and you don't follow it, I think that way you just completely will miss the magic that was offered to you, and you don't know what you're missing because you missed it. So that's unfortunate, but. Yeah, it just will work out if we do follow it, because I feel that inspiration is divine. It happens for a reason. It's not just something that is pointless, or it wouldn't be there.
Well, this is why it's so important to start paying attention to your thoughts. We're all thinkers, and we have that voice in our mind. And for a lot of people, it's just mind rambling. But as we start to pay attention to our thoughts, meditation really helps a lot with that. As we quiet our minds, then throughout the day, as thoughts come, we start to realize that there is a pattern and a certain voice that's going on, and the divine voice, also called the still small voice within, is actually a very loud and strong, powerful voice, and that's the voice that we want to follow. That voice that gives us the inspiration, and as we begin to tune into that more and more frequently, we'll begin to realize that we actually are getting messages from divine guidance, and it becomes a voice that we just don't want to ignore anymore, because it can be so powerful. Maybe it's only 3 words, but these 3 words just shake our reality, and we find if we didn't follow that guidance, that we probably are going to start kicking ourselves, because 3 days later we say, oh, I should have done that. I heard it loud and clear from the voice of the spirit, and I didn't follow it. So, but the voice was there. So this is all part of the attunement with self and divine guidance that we find ourselves in.
And there'll always be other opportunities. And what I found is when you're starting out, especially, that the more you pay attention, the more Spirit realizes you are paying attention, and the more messages you will receive. So they work with you in that. But it's also, if you don't listen, I've had things where I've got it and, oh yeah, I'll do that eventually. But if I'm not fast enough for Spirit, often I'll find the same message popping up 2 and 3 times, and by the 3rd time it's like, okay, I get it, I'm going to do it. So it'll often repeat itself if you've put it off too long, and by the 2nd or 3rd time you realize, okay, they really want you to do this. It's not just something that is not important to them, at least. That you'll find out why once you do it.
Yeah, and sometimes it sounds really crazy to do different things. So
it does, but it turns out.
It turns out, and if you follow it, especially if you're listening from that higher consciousness perspective, you start to see why you got that message at that time, and you become more of a devout follower of your own guidance at that point, because you have seen it so many times that this is divine guidance. And if you're a very good listener, you actually see a vibrational difference to that voice. Sometimes it will. It'll be a voice that was not your thinking. It just came out of the blue, in that thought structure that you had, and so that can be a very strong guidance as well.
I think often these messages come when your conscious mind is a little bit occupied doing something like dishes or making your bed, having a shower, etc. So chances are your mind is fairly clear, and that's why those messages do pop in. So they do seem to come out of the blue. So, and that's another way, like you said, to know that it is spirit.
While in the water, I noticed two of those suggestions: doing dishes and taking a shower. Both of those connect you magnetically, energetically to ground with the earth, and as you ground with the earth through water, the messages can actually flow in very strongly at that time. So perhaps the next time you're doing the dishes, if you're one of those kind that actually do them. I know dishwashers are around, but if you got your hands immersed in the water, or even if the water is flowing over you, you're going to be connecting, grounding to the earth, which is a very strong magnetic cosmic connection. And so start paying attention to your thoughts during those times. It can be very powerful. I get so many messages at that time, or taking showers, or just about any time I'm interacting with water. I have found that certain messages will come in at that time.
Well, it looks like you went from the shortest card you had to the longest one you had.
Not an accident,
so that's kind of funny.
You want to move into that?
Yeah, let's see what that one says.
Okay. Well, I did cheat a little bit and
paraphrase it.
Pick something out, but this is the Cube City Revelation. The Rainbow Equation deals with the cube, as I mentioned, and also with prophecy. So this is actually from Revelation 21:4. Which talks about some things dealing with where we're at right now as a Earth society. And it says, "And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes. There shall be no more death, nor sorrow, nor crying. The former things have passed away." And it continues, "And the city had no need for the sun, neither the moon to shine upon the glory of God lighten, and the Lamb of it is a light within." Sometimes I think that's almost too spiritual for some of our light workers out there. I do have a background in Christian teachings, and so that's why you'll find that I do work heavily with the prophets, including the book of Revelation. We are coming upon a time right now. The earth is transforming right now. Actually, the earth is glowing brighter now, and all the planets in this whole region are glowing brighter right now. And the reason for that is because energy is filling the earth right now, cosmic energy, and just like the aura that appears around the ascended masters, around the crown chakra, that's the same energy field that is filling the earth right now, and filling each and every one of us. So that's what 5D energy is. It's coming into the earth in ample qualities right now, and causing an actual glowing that's going on. So when the Revelation chapter 21 talks about a time where there'll be no more need for sun and the moon and so forth, that can scientifically be a very real phenomenon that's going on right now. All of these things have been measured scientifically. The actual pictures of the planets 10 years ago are they're much brighter right now. Even the Earth itself is brighter right now. Everything is glowing, and that's because our atomic structures are filling from the inside out, and they can only hold so much light. It starts to fill in, but once it reaches that point of saturation, then it reverses that light flow and begins to not only flow into that structure, but flows out from the very center nucleus from every atomic particle within our body, and really all things that made of atoms, which is like everything that's physical, are going to be filling up with light energy right now, and completely shifting how we view that you know, when we have dreams at night, you know, when you think about it, how do we see those dreams? There's no light in our brain going on right now, but everything is illuminated. So that's the kind of light that we're talking about when we're talking about an illumination of light. It is a cosmic light, a light that doesn't depend on the sun or a flame or flashlight. It's actually an internal cosmic light that flows and enlightens and brightens. It's the light of consciousness. It's the light of knowing. You know, it says to see the light. You know, it's a very literal statement. So there's a quick little rundown on what we're experiencing right now. Great changes are happening here on Earth, and as we move into the 5D reality, it's going to be a lot. Heaven has been talked about where there is no death there is no time there is no need for light. You know, we talk without moving our lips because consciousness just connects us that way. So these are all part of the new earth that we're moving into right now. Great and wonderful changes.
So true. When you were talking about the difference in the light, it's the light that I remember when I had my near-death experience, that in, you know, that heavenly realm, everything glows from within. You know, here on Earth we need the sun and the moon and kind of light to shine from outside of us onto things so we see them. But there, everything glows from within, and it's a totally different light, and that's what we're moving into. Our vibrations raising, the light within us is growing and growing, and we're returning back to that light within that will soon eventually light up everything around us, and we won't need that external light so much because that light will be from everything within, and it's a totally different look. It's like our vision will actually change at that point because everything is glowing from within. It's amazing.
That's all part of the process. It's a very amazing process. I mean, it's not something that's happening overnight. We're still living in 3D bodies. We're spiritual beings with living the 3D experience in a physical body, but our bodies are becoming more full of light and consciousness, and as it does, it's going to shift us more and more into this 5D reality that's all around us. Not that our 3D bodies are going away. Normally that requires a complete 5D reality, something we're not quite there yet. This is more of what they call, the Christians would call God coming down to the earth and dwelling with his people. That's another way of phrasing that is higher consciousness. The divine light is coming down. The 5D consciousness is coming down to earth right now, saturating 3D reality right now, and as it does, it's making us more light beings all the time, and this is what's shifting everything on earth so dramatically right now.
Well, it is vibrating higher, and as we do that, the space between ourselves and everything does lighten up. So, you know, we may start seeing in the near future that, you know, weight-wise, things might be changing, and we might just start feeling lighter and moving like we feel lighter, and it's a gradual change. So I think at one point we'll just suddenly realize that, yeah, things aren't as dense as they used to be, they aren't as heavy as they used to be. So it is a physical change going on within us. We're changing from carbon-based to crystalline based. So that vibration in the crystalline base is much, much higher, and, you know, which is why they use crystals in computers, because they kind of go with the vibration, which is faster than the speed of light. So.
Well, and before we've heard about the crystal children's coming in, you know, back in my generation, it was the indigos that were coming in, but now we have the crystal children, we have the rainbow children, even diamond children I'm hearing, and I mean, they're all kind of names to help talk about this phenomena that we find ourselves in. The crystal children are just the most amazing children out there at this point. It's the final generation, the ones that will actually change our earth for the better, because they're not going to accept the old paradigms anymore. The old dead and dying system is just something they can't even relate to, let alone dwell in and accept. So as these crystal children become more and more prevalent here on Earth, and the rainbow children, these are the ones that are shifting our paradigms here on Earth as this generation gets older, and they're already super old souls, but as their physical bodies grow and they move into more positions of management of the Earth, none of these old paradigms are going to be able to stand anymore. They're all built upon illusions and smoke and mirrors, and quite honestly can be very dangerous and deadly to life itself. So all of these old paradigms must fall away as the light becomes more powerful here on Earth. We really don't have any choice about that, and the crystal children are here to remind us of all of these wonderful things.
Well, they definitely are here to be the future, because which is amazing, because their energy and vibration and knowledge is so different from ours, but they do, as children, need our help, because this is a tough place for them, because it's not where they came from. It's not where we came from, but the people here that are older have been doing it a lot longer. And so, as you said, the new kind of that new soul, old soul kind of thing. We've been here, gotten used to the density, learned how to work it, learned how to get through it, are more adept at it, where the new children coming in on purpose are not that way, because they are ready for the changes. They're waiting and ready for the Earth to catch up to them. And we have to kind of help them integrate and be safe in this environment, because it is so foreign to them.
Well, and at the same time, I'm thinking, well, we got to help them, but as adults, we got to be receptive to where they're coming from. They are our way showers. They're the ones that are coming in with this magnificent light and this magnificent way of viewing the world. And you know, if we as adults are not ready to accept that, then we're going to just end up moving to the side, because the new Earth is going to arise here. The crystal children are going to make sure that it is here. So I invite all you parents out there, or teachers of young ones, to just open up your hearts to your children, and to these young amazing light bright souls, because and let them make the path for you. Find out what their interests are, and do your utmost to guide and direct them, so that they can fulfill these interests. Because you know, the old paradigm of schools, where we're just all robots, is just not going to work anymore. And now it's all about opening up the hearts of the children, let them find their own paths, encourage their own paths, give them the resources that they can grow in these new paths. This is what all the new homeschools and the new people that light workers are doing right now with these crystal children. They're just taking them out of the schools, if they can possibly find a way, and just find a way to get them open and living in their destiny. I mean, it's just like the best thing we can do to a child is let them be the captain of their own boat.
Exactly. The new child-based learning is starting to catch on now, and I know my own daughter is a great teacher in that, and in helping other teachers to learn the concept and work with them in these concepts, because it is so much more productive for the children. So yeah, there's great changes, but I think, as you were saying earlier, they are the future, and that their time will be when, by the time they are adults, the huger changes will be well into effect by then, and they will feel at home by that time. It's just that transition from child to adult that we are helping them with, and they are helping us with as well.
Well, and the transitions are massive, so we need to lean on light where we can find it. And if it's in the purity of a child, then what better place can we be? We're all going through growing pains. Age is just a number, and we all have to face this what the Christians would call the War of Armageddon together, which is the final battle of good and evil, and to find out which is going to rise to the top. In my mind, there's no question about that. Of course, the light always overpowers the dark, and that's just a scientific truth. So we're going to keep moving towards the light, and but there will be some transitions there, and believe me, the dark forces on Earth are the stupidity. The ones that are asleep is very strong rooted at this time. So it's going to take a lot to root out. These old systems and get them to move towards the light and towards love, but it doesn't mean it's going to be an easy journey, and especially if you're living in density.
I think the best way is to really focus on your own journey and stay in your own center of love and light, and whenever you can, just don't focus on the negativity, because that gives it power and gives it more life. So the more we focus on the positive and what's around us that's great, that's our reality. We're creating it moment by moment, and let's stay in that light and join in that meditation tomorrow.
Well, it's so true. I always encourage people to turn off mass media, state-run media, which is everywhere. They're just a bunch of fearmongers creating an illusion of separation. Watch TV if you must. I watch TV. I watch comedy. I'm not gonna be over on state news. One of the part of the Illuminati's plan is to get us bickering among ourselves, and getting us to really hate them and really see all the devastation and all the and all of a sudden we're in this really dark energy because we're fighting against systems out there, or even people. That's not raising the consciousness here on Earth. So just keep it light and bright. Live love the best that you can. Realize that there is darkness out there, but don't take it in on the deepest levels. Just see it for what it is. See the mistruths what it is, and just keep moving towards the light.
Yeah, and realize that everything that seems dark right now, people go through that dark night of the soul, but that's what it takes for most people to embrace change. They just want to fight it, and they won't make it or do it unless they have to, until they don't see any alternative. And that's really the dark night of the soul, is once you get to that point where there's no alternative, then it becomes your only choice, and it's really for the better, even though it seems like it is a dark time for that person. We always come out of that on a much higher level. And I've even heard sometimes that the darker it is, the brighter, the more potential you have for light after you've survived that and come through it. If it was a little bit dark, you'll improve a little bit. But if it was really a bad time, you will improve that much more. So the potentials go from kind of the darkest before the dawn, I would say.
Well, it looks like we're down to our last 3 minutes. The show has flown by. Thank you to Luana and all of those wonderful comments. That really guides and directs our show, and also to Ahava and all your other listeners there in the background. We appreciate you being here as well.
Well, and now I'd just like to hold up my book. There is Love, My Near-Death Experience and Beyond. When I was 4 years old, I had my tonsils out and had a huge journey to the other side. In 5D, met one ascended master and had quite a journey there, but then I ended up coming back, and my whole life seemed to have been guided since then. And so I wrote about this to show other people that we all have that map within us, and we all have to follow that if we can. This is my CD out. This is Love Will Find a Way, and this is 8 songs that were channeled to me, and I have played them on my guitar and had some production help with that, with some background, etc. And hopefully these are beautiful messages that will help you in your life as well.
Okay, and over on my side, I have a children's book here that I've been promoting called The Wizard of Oz. Journey into Rainbow Self, very simple reading, a very fantastical reading, but all based in fact, all dealing with revelation and discovering the rainbow being. So you can find that on Amazon. Love Illuminations, a collection of 150 writings written basically 4 o'clock in the morning after pretty deep meditation while I was living in the ashram a number of years ago. So a great book to just pick one up and read daily, or however you're inspired. And my lifelong work, The Rainbow Connection, subtitle Gen Z and the Universal Language of Light, all about the rainbow equation, rainbow prophecy, rainbow philosophy, rainbow prophecy. I think I said that, which is a big part of it as well. I believe it's the world's foremost book on rainbows from all of these different perspectives. You can find all of these on Amazon. Just name search my name, David Shepard Love, and that will take you right there. Please visit my website, rainbowequation.com, if you want to explore much of what's in the book online as well. And our store website is Rainbow Mystic. 2 minute rainbow on the brain here. Mystic Muse Online. That will mysticmuseonline.com. That will tell you all about our stores. We're actually in the service room here right now, where we do our psychic readings, our Reiki, past life regressions, etc. So please join us for that as well. 365 Main Street here in Camp Verde, right in the shadow of just 30 minutes from Sedona.
And I'd just like to mention my blog as well. I have several items up, a new one out just I think last week or the week before, and that is deborahchristilove.wordpress.com.
Okay, well, it looks like we're out of time for this week. Thank you for our lovely listeners. 1 o'clock here, Mountain Standard Time. Please tune in every Friday, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Till then, see you soon.